win over the Mets. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
We are Buckhorn.
Woo! Now here's something we hope you really like.
Woo!
This is The Big Lead with Jason McIntyre.
There are some decent storylines this weekend.
The Big Lead.
What are you talking about? Where is the focus?
With Jason McIntyre.
Don't yell at me through the radio.
That's what I thought. Shut up.
The Big Lead is now.
Do you understand?
Live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Here's your host, Jason McIntyre.
Yo, yo, yo! Hour number 2 is here. Good morning, East Coast. 11 a.m. to everybody on the East Coast. Jason McIntyre coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. The obligatory World Cup update after Belgium put a beat down on Tunisia earlier. Mexico and I believe Korea just kicked off moments ago. Chicharito is one of the coolest names in all of sports. I just love saying Chicharito. I will say this. I'll tell you to root for Mexico. Ain't nobody paying me to do that. Hour number 1 was fun. And I want to start hour number 2 here with this. I know that the NBA draft is a fraction of what the NFL draft audience is. I believe 3.3 million folks tuned into the NBA draft on TV and something like 11 million watched the NFL draft. So I get that there's a big disparity. I love both. I don't think there's a problem with loving both. I could argue that the NBA draft has higher impact players. However, and this is where I want to go as it pertains to LeBron and the Lakers and potentially LeBron and the Cavs or LeBron and the Sixers. Doing the little things in life are so important. I cannot stress that enough. It's the little things that put you over the top. So all the married guys out there, you know where I'm coming from when I say this. You know, you're walking through the kitchen, maybe you want to put something in the trash, and you notice the trash is full. You know what the slick move is. It's a little thing. Just take out the trash. Don't let it pile up. Don't wait for the wife to be like, hey, could you take out the trash and recycling? Just get it done. Maybe every 2 months you come home from work on the way home. You just stop by the grocery store, pick up some flowers. Little things. Cheap flowers. You don't need a bouquet of roses. You know? Pick up $10. Flowers. It goes a long way with the wife. It's the little things that matter. And when I looked at the NBA draft, and you guys are going to love this. Yeah, I love this. I thought the Lakers did the little things in the NBA draft. Now, if we can all agree that there's essentially 3 teams vying for LeBron, a lot of people are ruling out the Spurs now, and a lot of people are ruling out the Rockets. I guess mostly because there would have needed to be LeBron opting in and then being traded, and I don't think either of those teams have the goods to make the deal. So the Lakers did the little things, but the other 2 teams, the Cavs and the Sixers, they did not do the little things. They didn't. And to me, and again, I know you're sitting at home screaming, Jason, the draft is not going to sway LeBron. Not totally, but it's a body of work. It's the little things. So what are these little things that I'm talking about? Well, okay. LeBron has left Cleveland for Miami, and LeBron left Miami for Cleveland. And in both stops, LeBron knows he needs shooting. Paramount. Drive and kick, post and kick, corner 3 ball. That's what LeBron needs. I don't know if it's number 1, but he needs shooters around him. What did the Lakers do in the draft? Well, in the first round, they got a guy by the name of Mo Wagner, big, tall German. Skilled player, went to Michigan. Guess what he can do? He's a shooter. He's a very good shooter, in fact. And this is what I love even more.
It is 8:06. Good morning. I'm Bryan Main. Welcome to Garden America. We've got a problem with the network feed, but other than that, we are on the air live, Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us here. Bryan Main, John Bagnasco, and Tiger Palafox. 855-424-9825 if and when the board op and studio coordinator arrives back at the network. Until then, your questions, comments, post them, John at gardenamerica.com. Usually broadcasting on Biz Talk Radio, but apparently there is a technical problem from the network. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we are live and we are ready to go. Welcome to your Saturday morning. Again, Tiger Palafox, John Bagnasco, I'm Bryan Main. We are ready to go. And, of course, Tiger, we will try to get a hold of Lance Walheim here coming up momentarily because he is our guest today representing the good folks at Bayer, soon to be changed to a new name.
Bio Advanced. They've already changed their name.
Oh, officially changed, huh, John?
Yeah,
Bio Advanced.
Bio Advanced.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And they're still using Bayer, calling themselves Bayer?
They still have the blue bottle. You gotta run through all those blue bottles
finish
before
the blue bottle.
you switch your name. You don't want to be just setting with a bunch of blue bottles.
Whether it's Bayer Advanced, Bio Advanced.
It's all the good stuff.
If it's a blue bottle, people will recognize
It's all the same. And again, once we do hook up with the network, we'll get Lance on and perhaps try to call Lance ourselves and figure something out. But anyway, thank you so much. Facebook will never fail you. Sometimes the radio does, but here at Garden America, we'll always be with you on Facebook Live. Last week after the show, we recorded a podcast. Let's see. Dirt is dead, soil is alive, John. And I posted that on Monday, so that is up. If you have the iHeartRadio app, you can go to that. Just look for Garden America on the app, and you can hear that podcast. Also, the link in the newsletter that John puts in. And then last week, I believe Tiger put a link on our Facebook page.
Yep.
So many ways to get to it.
Yeah.
We got a good morning from Rochelle, who says, Bryan, we're going to miss you in England.
Thank you, Rochelle. Yes, Dana and I are going to miss you as well. Dana's father is having some health problems, so we want to be close to home just in case. So thank you so much for that, Rochelle. I do appreciate that. We're going to miss being in England with John and Tiger and the rest of our great listeners, Kathy, Sue, Bob, all the rest of our regulars, Susan, I should say. So thank you so much for that. Do appreciate it. So for the next couple of hours, we're going to be talking, I guess gardening would be a good topic, right?
Yeah, or England.
Or England.
No.
Let's hit. Now, you guys are
Hey, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since we know this is just Facebook Live right now, and so people can watch as we're doing this, and I don't have to worry about the radio listeners at the moment. So for the trip, because we're going to be doing live broadcasts from England, so for those of you that are watching on Facebook now, next Saturday, John and I will be in England, 8 a.m., this time it'll be 4 p.m. in England,
right?
And we're going to be doing a live broadcast. But in order to do that, I bought this contraption here.
Looks like a Rubik's Cube.
You know what? I think it is a Rubik's Cube. There's an instruction book that comes with this. It's bigger than the device itself. But I guess this is how I'm going to plug in our devices to an outlet there. And I have multiple outlet options here. So I hope I pick the right one and I don't blow our computer out on the first shot. We'll see what happens there. But I'm excited because we're going to be talking, fun stuff while we're in England, and we're going to be having some good things to show people throughout our trip. And our guests that are joining us are going to be able to be on as well. And
our tour officially starts on Sunday, right?
Yes.
But we're going Saturday.
Right.
So that we can do the show from there. And I think we're going to be doing it from Kew Gardens.
Hopefully. We make
as long as we can find it.
We make no promises on this at all because that's what we're hoping to do it from. And then the following Saturday.
He said a lot depends on what type of Wi-Fi reception there is.
Exactly, and connections and all of that fun stuff. But no matter what, we will be doing a live show, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited about showing people what's out there. And then throughout the trip, we'll be taking pictures and videos and posting it for people to see as well.
And by you mean you.
Are you saying you're not going to be able to connect to Facebook there?
I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with my phone over there. I was going to bring it just to take pictures.
Yeah, it's a giant paperweight over there for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. So have you called your bank and you're letting them know you're leaving the country and you haven't called your cell phone service and do that? Yeah,
no,
all that
I haven't
stuff.
done any of that.
You were saying on the way in you haven't even gotten a suitcase yet.
Well, No, that's true. I think after the show I might go to Marshall's or something, see if I can get a cheap suitcase. Doesn't make any difference what kind of suitcase you have. They destroy it on the way over to Europe.
The airport
it's
that was
always happened.
The airport that was the most strictest during our last European trip was Heathrow.
Most strict.
The most strict, yeah, was Heathrow.
Really?
They threw away all kinds of stuff. You can't have that cream, can't have that. That's too big, that's too small. And we said, well, yeah, but we've been through like 2 or 3 other airports, and it was fine. Doesn't matter.
Care.
You're in England. This is Heathrow.
I remember, was it that time? Or maybe the time before, but when we had gone to the Chelsea Flower Show, a lot of people bought seeds, thinking they could bring the seeds back.
No.
And half of them got through, and the other half, they confiscated the seeds.
Really? I thought you can always ship seeds no matter where.
Apparently not always.
Yeah. Well, what kind of seeds were they?
They were just packaged seeds, from one of the English seed companies.
Yeah. I know. Usually I don't have to worry about people trying to smuggling stuff on trips that I go on, but I don't know, with this group of people, they might find something they like and we're going to get stopped along our way. See what happens.
Well, I used to have one trick that I never used to have this trick. Let me see how to phrase this. Someone used to have a trick where they would always, because you've got to claim, if you have any plant material,
yeah,
you're supposed to say you have it, and then you go to a special spot where they check it out.
Right.
If you don't claim it and they find it, then you're in trouble. So if you always claim that you have it and then go over there and show them what you have, but have something else hidden that you don't show them, they usually either take it or they say, oh, that's okay, and they let you through.
Oh, there you go.
So you got to roll the dice.
Right.
A little bit.
But you should never bring anything in the way of soil or material that could hold, like leaves that would harbor pests or diseases.
That's common sense.
That's just, you don't want to do that. But seeds and even bulbs, you would think would be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm in the process of moving, so I don't really need anything. All I want to do is make contacts.
You're going to be moving.
And take pictures.
How long did they say it would take to build your house from the ground up?
Year.
1 year.
Right. 3 months is just to get all the proper permits.
And then a year. Did you design it? Did you sit down with like schematics and blueprints and all that?
We are in the process
Pinterest
of doing
board.
that.
Yeah, do all those things that you've always wanted to do. Once, because you're going to have like you can wire within the walls. You can have all kinds of fun.
That's
like a slide.
That's my wife is going to do mostly that. All I really care about is the yard. So
you're going to plan the yard accordingly.
I'll plan the yard, and she can plan the house. House is just a place to sleep.
Again, many people on Facebook probably saw me on the phone trying to contact the network because we do want to get Lance Walheim on as our guest this morning. And that does need to be done by the network to get that telephone feed in here, so we'll continue with that. But anyway, we are on Facebook Live, and again, you can reach us, questions, comments right there on Facebook, or John at GardenAmerica.com.
And we do have a question from our good friend Dale.
Let's hit it.
Who's asking, how long do pea plants live and keep producing? Well, I mean, the obvious one note on that is that they are an annual, so it really depends a lot on the weather. When if
Right.
you're going to get a frost or extreme heat, that's going to stop certain growth habits of certain plants.
I would say as long as the weather stays cool and you keep picking them, they'll
Yeah.
keep producing.
Yeah, so a lot of it's going to depend on your temperatures, and then the thing that people need to realize too, that John has always reminded me, it's not always just the temperatures of the outside weather, but also the soil temperatures as well for a lot of these plants. Because even though the weather is cool, if the doesn't cool off more at night and those soil temperatures get up, sometimes the plants respond to that as well, and they will finish earlier or later depending on that. So I'm trying to think of where. I think Dale, though, is in the Central Coast of California, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but so for him, it's probably wrapping up now because they're starting to get pretty warm now, depending on where he's at. But pea plants probably going.
Yeah. It is important to keep the peas picked, though, because on annuals, you were mentioning that they're annual plants. the purpose of an annual is to flower, produce seeds, and then die.
Right.
And if you let the seeds mature, which are the peas themselves, then the plant's thinking, okay, I've done my job, and they'll die. But if you keep them picked off, then they keep wanting to produce.
Kind of the same thing with basil and those plants that when they flower, it starts that cycle. And it even changes the taste of the basil, huh?
It does.
Yeah. Do you know if that happens with peas or anything like that? Like if you let it flower and fully
I don't think
develop,
so.
It'll change the pea taste? Because I found that so interesting that when that happens, because you'll have a wonderful flavored basil, and then you'll be like, oh, it's flowering. You'll get out there, you'll snip it, but it's changed already the flavor of the basil completely.
There's a little difference between peas and basil because peas you're picking the fruit itself, which doesn't change. But on basil, it's the leaves, it's the plant itself you're changing. So when the plant goes into flowering, the plant itself is changing a little bit, and that's the part you're eating.
Yeah, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
The change in where the energy and all of that stuff is going to. So Dale, you're probably wrapping up now, depending on what the temperatures are, where you're at. But like John said, pick them, because that way they'll keep the cycle going. If you don't pick, and that goes for a lot of the vegetables.
I picked my first tomatoes yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I picked. Shannon went out and she said, "Oh, I was looking for a fresh tomato. We don't have any yet." And I said, "I'm sure there's at least one out there."
Yeah.
So I went out and I came back with about 10.
Wow.
Orange icicle tomatoes.
Oh, okay. So. Nice. I've got 5 plants. I've got fruit on 2 of them.
You were
flowers.
doing some experiments with yours, right? What was it you wanted to see?
Well, I just had the different varieties, and I'm just trying to see the different varieties, but I am Bush 506. And that one, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it. It is a short, stocky man. Like, that tomato plant is super thick stem. It's got
like a little sumo wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got these leaves on it that remind me of like a kale or cabbage, like thick. Like not even I had rabbits eating the other ones. Rabbits didn't even touch the 506.
Really?
Yeah. And so I haven't seen any flowers on it yet, but I'm excited to see what happens with that one. It is a interesting plant nonetheless, because even the other super dwarf that I am growing right now, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, is taller than the 506 at this moment in time, and it looks like a classic tomato plant.
But it has a thick stem still, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely not going to grow a lot taller. I mean, the other ones are already, the cage is 4 feet tall, and they're almost, they're 3/4 of the way up the cage. And then, the 506 is not even a foot, and then the other one's like 1.5 feet or something. So, yeah, it's just funny.
The technical term, the scientific term for leaves that look the way you're describing them is rugose, R-U-G-O-S-E.
Do you think so? It's when they have a more dense leaf,
when they're thicker and twisted.
Yeah.
So if you think of Rosa rugosa, the hybrid rugosa roses, their leaves are a little bit different too,
and kind of crinkly looking. Yeah.
Crinkly would be the way to describe it.
I know people see me going to the computer, my phone, so on and so forth, to let you know there is somebody on their way to the studio to hook up the network to us so we can get back on the radio and go from there. I wish I could apologize to the affiliates right now, but they can't hear us. So hopefully they're doing something to fill that time. It is 20 minutes after the hour, and that's going to be a good thing because until that happens, we can't stop talking. It's going to be straight talk here on Facebook Live. Somebody just posted something in my Facebook page that completely surprised me.
Uh-oh.
Totally took me by surprise. And if we can get a hold of a Union Tribune newspaper in the building, my son Eric, they've done a whole full-page story on him.
Really? You didn't know about this?
I had no idea. And somebody just posted on my Facebook page.
Wow.
And that's kind of what's been distracting me a little bit seeing this. It's a whole article on him with a question and answer.
You don't distract easily. You're pretty focused.
Well, trying to be focused, trying to play to the camera, play to the board, talk to and text the people back at the network. So we're going to continue to get that rolling. Again, John at GardenAmerica.com, or post your questions like Dale did Facebook Live as we continue on this Saturday morning. Yes, I will write down my phone number, Tiger. my cell phone?
Yeah,
you
I
got
want to
it.
give it to Lance
Okay,
so
you got
he
it.
can reach out to you. Let me try to pull that up right now while we're talking. I might be able to do that. I'm trying to think of
You're talking
about the Brandon thing.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something else caught me by surprise this week at the nursery. And I've been working on this garden boxes for a company. They're creating some dividers, and we're going to put some Golden Goddess bamboo in there. And when the grower came around, I was like, I'm looking for, X amount of Golden Goddess bamboo, and gave me the specs on them and said, okay, yeah, let's get them. And then there was a bambusa, I want to say it was like a texilum or something that I had seen, or that he had showed me also. And I was really surprised by this other variety of bamboo as well. And then we started this discussion on bamboos. And right now, when the heat changes, it's so crazy what bamboo does when it just defoliates. Like if it'll be growing looking all beautiful and fine, and then all of a sudden one day it's 80 degrees and then all the foliage falls off. And no matter if you're watering it a lot or not, it just kind of sheds its winter coat, so to speak, and then puts out new foliage. And I was asking about how growers handle this in their yards. And, they were talking about how sometimes they'll grow them in a little shaded area during certain times of the year, but more often than not, they just let them kind of do that in their yard, and they deal with that. But he was saying, and it got me thinking about our last podcast, where dirt is dead, soil is alive, that they don't fertilize during that time frame because they don't want to be pushing out growth and everything like that. And when they do fertilize, they use like a slow release, milorganite kind of fertilizer. And it was just the whole idea that carrying that whole, feeding the soil even into a nursery setting is also is very important for growers that recognize that, because, for the longevity of the plant, it's just a better thing to do. So I don't know. It just got me I always felt like in a growing situation, they always use chemical fertilizers to boost them and, make sure the plant is just looking always good, kind of a thing.
Yeah, sometimes they'll use water solubles through drip irrigation if they've got containers of, in a nursery setting, and they have emitters to each container. Rather than fertilizing them, they'll just run water soluble through the system.
Yeah. But I don't know. Bamboo
Bamboo
fertilizer.
It took me. I really like bamboo, but I don't.
You know me, I love bamboo as well.
Right, I only had half an acre, and it finally. I think it cost me almost $1,000 to have my last bamboo plant removed.
You had running bamboo.
No, it was a clumping bamboo, but it was giant timber. But I was paying somebody $100 a month just to rake up the leaves. And I thought,
see, that's what I was saying.
That's the thing about bamboo.
Those leaves.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
I mean, if you have it in an area where you don't mind that mulch going down, leaf mulch, they're fine. And there's nothing more calming than being in the middle of a bamboo forest.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I like the black bamboo.
I always love it when I look over and see a panda.
Yeah, because you have so many pandas at your nursery, right? You grow bamboo specifically for the pandas.
For the pandas.
Exactly. Okay, we're at 25 minutes after the hour. We're still waiting for the network hookup here, but until then on Facebook Live, John at GardenAmerica.com, and, of course, Facebook, questions, comments.
Dale followed up with his question on the peas that we were talking about, and he said that they're kind of he agreed with Tiger, they're getting towards the end of their production. and he wants to know if he can put in some more and what kind tolerates the heat. But I would recommend not doing it because peas don't tolerate the heat. They just, I mean, beans are the kind of peas that tolerate the heat.
Not regular peas, though, huh?
No, put in some beans. The next time to put in peas would be probably September, Dale.
When it cools down.
Yeah, because then you can probably get a crop in the fall, but you're just going against the season to put them in now. Whenever you try to grow winter crops or cool season crops in the summer, they just don't do well.
I hope that helps, Dale. Go ahead, Tiger.
Well, and people, there are some fruit that have very short germination rates and ripening seasons. Tomatoes and some. I mean, not peppers, but to some degree, peppers do. And then we talk about how radishes and all of those grow pretty quickly. But things like melons, peas, beans, they take a long time to do that. And so people think, the weather's okay now, and I'll get in there and I'll plant it now. Well, they don't realize, you're not thinking about the weather now. You're thinking about the weather 3 months down the road.
The weather's going to change 10 times in the next few months.
Yeah, and, when people say, I want to plant a pumpkin, and they're like, I know I might not have it for October. You're right. You might not have it for October, but you don't realize that
the weather.
In November, when the weather changes, that all that time that you spent growing that pumpkin, one frost melts it.
You're done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at the whole span of the plant, not just the when you're planting it, thinking it's going to grow in 1 month and have fruit on it in a month, because it's just not the case for a lot of the vegetables.
Sure.
And that's the hard thing about farming. I mean, one of the hard thing about farming is that, as a farmer, that's what you're working with is months and months of a season, not just a short window. And so when they plant plants and then they have problems or growth problems or anything like that, that's where they run into that problem. Farming is, they planted it and everything was fine, but then when they get that frost or that hailstorm, no fun at all.
I think because we were talking about being in the bamboo forest and how relaxing it was, Kathy posted on Facebook that forest bathing is the latest thing. And before you start stripping down, Bryan, and running out in the forest, it's just taking in the entire atmosphere of the forest, and that's referred to as forest bathing. It began in Japan in the 1980s, and people started doing the very thing that we were kind of talking about. It's kind of a calming atmosphere.
We got some more questions up on Facebook too, Tiger.
Yep.
Laura.
Yes, exactly.
We were just talking about rugose leaves on the dwarf tomatoes, and she wanted to know what makes the leaves of her Iditarod tomato curl in, and that's natural to those super dwarf plants. That's part of the rugoseness, if that's a word, of the tomato leaves on those super dwarfs. You have some 1 or 2 super dwarfs at your house too, right?
I've got one tomato. Yeah,
one tomato.
It's almost there. They're getting big. They're big and green.
Really?
I think this dwarf is bigger than it's supposed to be.
Is that the one? Is that the one still that he gave both of us, and it was the cascading one?
No. That was last year.
Yeah, this is a dwarf. Which I ended
it's one of the super dwarfs.
Yeah, which I ended up putting a tomato cage around it because it is getting big, and the tomatoes are still green, but they're very prolific. And like I say, I'm just waiting for them to turn, to ripen. I got to get a picture of this by itself. I took a picture last week, but it was in and amongst all the other plants. You couldn't even see it because of all the greenery. So I'm going to get it by itself and take a picture so you can get an idea what it looks like, John.
Knows when it needs to be charged and directs itself back to the charging dock.
Hey, Bryan, you there?
Control options. The Husqvarna allows you to set it and forget it.
Hey, this is Jeremiah. I just made it.
Thanks to Husqvarna, you can have a great-looking lawn and more time to enjoy it this season.
Oh, you guys ready for the next segment?
Nursery at 1525 Volkswagen Drive in San Diego.
Okay.
Or go to missionhillsnursery.com for more info.
Do you want to take the great shows of Biz Talk Radio wherever you go? Well, now you can with the new Biz Talk Radio app for iPhone and Android devices. Now, all the great shows of Biz Talk Radio are with you wherever you go, just an arm's reach away on your smartphone. Download today at the App Store or the Google Play Store and get the brand new Biz Talk Radio app. It's Biz for you wherever you go with the new Biz Talk Radio app.
Attention! Are you moving soon and don't know who to turn to? If you are moving or planning to move long distance or across the country, Moving APT is offering up to a 20% discount for radio callers this month. Let us handle and remove all the pain and stress in a long-distance move. Let Moving APT help you with your all-inclusive move, including packaging services, help with washers and dryers, mounted TVs, bed frames, and more. We can include packing and unpacking services or ask for boxes, tape, bubble wrap, or labels. We also disassemble and reassemble appliances and TVs at your new home. Moving is difficult and stressful, so call Moving APT today to find the most professional movers to support you. If you are looking for a low-cost quote to move long distance or across the country, call us now. Call 800-716-0362. 800-716-0362. Get a guaranteed quote with up to 20% off. 800-716-0362.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-430-7570. 800-430-7570. 800-430-7570. That's 800-430-7570.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-670-2142. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-670-2142. 800-670-2142. That's 800-670-2142.
I live alone and rarely have visitors. So when I slipped and fell in the kitchen last month and couldn't get to a phone, I knew I was in trouble.
Help!
I could barely move.
Help!
I tried calling for help, but no one could hear me. As I lay there, I couldn't help but think of my kids and grandkids having to go on without me. I was terrified. It took 8 hours for my neighbor to find me. It could have been the end of me. That's when I knew I needed Life Alert. With just one press of this button, I'm connected to the Life Alert Center, where I can get the help I need, even when I cannot reach a phone. With Life Alert, I'm never alone.
Call 1-800-414-1958 for your free Life Alert brochure. That's 1-800-414-1958. 1-800-414-1958. Call for your free Life Alert brochure today at 1-800-414-1958.
Biz Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Garden America Radio Show with Bryan, John, and Tiger. The phone lines are open right now at 855-424-9825. That's 855-424-9825. Or John at gardenamerica.com.
And, of course, as you can tell, we are back on the network. Thank you so much. Biz Talk Radio. Again, 855-424-9825. Want to float us a phone call? You can also get in touch with us, John at gardenamerica.com. Facebook Live seems to be the way to go, so that's what's happening, and you can always depend on Facebook Live, definitely.
Yeah.
When all else fails.
Last week, not so much.
Last week, it's always something, right?
Always
something with Garden America.
But we do have a few more comments over on
and we
the
are
Facebook.
trying to get a hold of Lance, by the way, just so you know, Lance Walheim.
All right, perfect. And one of the things also Laura had mentioned on our Facebook thread is that she had thought that some worms had invaded her plants, and that's why they had the curled leaves. And
that's
that
normal, though.
And the curled leaves on
Right.
the Iditarod, is that what she was
it's
having?
normal.
Yeah, is normal. But that is a common symptom of worms, is kind of some curled leaves. But you usually right now, during this time of year, the worms would have completely demolished the plant.
Yeah.
And that's very noticeable because they're chewing through the plants and then, hatching into a butterfly or moth or whatever it may be turning into. But I was at a property this week also where worms had gone through a geranium and then also some roses. And on the roses, it's so difficult because they're the little green worms that are really hard to find. And so you don't always see them as easy as some of the, on a tomato, it's the tomato hornworm, which is like a giant.
Well, they're huge.
Giant log.
Well, even those are hard to spot because they blend in camouflage with the tomato leaves.
Well, but when it calls out your name as you walk by, get away from me because it's massive.
Here's my take. Any insect
Lasers locked in.
whatsoever, any insect that you can see facial expressions,
exactly right,
is a little too big for me.
Yeah.
And by the way, we do have Lance dialed in.
Yeah.
And we know that this has been. We're about 37 minutes late, so if you want to go to Lance right now,
let's go ahead.
Let's take care of Lance.
So, thanks for being patient this morning, Lance, and joining us. We were just having some connection issues with the radio broadcast, but we're happy to have you. And a man that needs no introduction, written many books, an expert in the gardening industry, Lance Walheim.
Hi, Lance. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Hey, wait a minute now. Are you guys telling me you had some bugs in the system and you didn't call me first?
See? Very good. Very good. This all works out perfect.
The reason we didn't call is Bryan couldn't remember. Is it Bio Advanced? Is it Bayer?
Is it Bayer? I was trying to remember your new name, Lance. And for those that are just tuning in or haven't heard, let's talk about that. Going to talk about a lot of things this morning, but what about Bayer and your new identification?
That's right. We're changing our name to Bio Advanced. You're still here in Bayer Advanced because it's going to be a slow transition over the summer, but it really has started because I'm seeing the products labeled with Bio Advanced in a lot of the big box stores. So we're going to see it, but we're just changing the name. It's going to be the same blue bottle, the same blue bags, the same red banner, same great results, same great active ingredients. So we're only changing the name. And by the end of the summer, say in early October, we should be done with it. But we're going to be launching our new web page next month, so it's exciting times.
Now, you had mentioned quite a few of the same new things, and there are a couple, or same old stuff, but there are a couple of great new products. But before we get into the new products, it's summertime. People are enjoying the outside. Last week, we had a guest from Summit Chemicals talking about mosquitoes and those problems that people are going to be having with backyard barbecues. But you guys also have some solutions for those crawling insects, those ants, those critters that are around picnics and barbecues, around your pool patio and stuff like that. And you were saying that these products are going to give you kind of full summer protection, right?
Well, yeah, we have a number of products that can control crawling insects outdoors. Probably number one is home pest control, which is for indoors and outdoor treatments if you've got problems indoors. And, as is often the case, usually when you have ants and that kind of things outdoors, you often have them inside as well. And the nice thing about that product is it comes with an ErgoGrip sprayer, which is a battery-operated little sprayer, so it's real easy to use. We've also got products like complete insect control for soil and turf. If you're having some of these, can be used as a perimeter treatment or can be applied to the lawn if you're having problems with some of the pests in the lawn. And if you're living in the South, we have solutions for fire ants. One thing that I really like to talk about is it's a relatively new product, and that's the Home Pest Roach Killer Gel. It's kind of an innovative product. It's a little pen-like thing that you take and you put little spots about one every square yard. And you can put this around. It's got a bait in it, and the roaches come and they feed on the bait and they take it back to their nest, and it kills the entire nest. And the great thing about it, you can use it in your kitchen, you can use it outdoors, in the garage, and I've tried it, and it works fantastic. So, if you're having kind of problems with those outdoor pests, go to BearAdvance.com. We've got a lot of different solutions.
Hey, in that roach killer, Jill, I got to ask you, because I have a friend that came from New Orleans, and she lives here in San Diego now, and coming from New Orleans, I felt she would have had a better tolerance for bugs because their roaches are the size of our head. But here, if she sees a roach, she freaks out, and it's a whole situation. Like, we'll be over at her house for a dinner party, and all of a sudden, she's screaming in the kitchen like she's being attacked, and it's just a little critter crawling across the floor. Is this a product that you can kind of use? You say you use it in the kitchen, but all 50 states kind of a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that sounds like my wife. You get a cockroach next to her, and she's screaming bloody murder. And the best approach is to use a perimeter treatment as well, and then combine that with this. This is something you're going to use underneath the sinks, along the baseboards and stuff like that, and along the wall in the garage, anywhere that nobody can get to it. And, it's very effective. So if you can keep the cockroaches from coming in the house with a perimeter spray, with the home pest, or the other thing that works is the complete insect control for soil and turf, and then you use a product like this, you're really going to get good control. And I know, because we live in the country. I've had a lot of problems with cockroaches in my garage, and we've solved that problem. All right.
Hey, and then I have a question regarding one of your guys' new turf products. You guys have a
Right.
triple action turf product now. And, I've seen a lot of the Bayer products. There's the all-in-one Rose, which is a systemic insecticide, disease control, and fertilizer. But this triple action lawn fertilizer, what does it do over 3 different ways?
Well, the triple action lawn fertilizers, it feeds all parts of the plant. It feeds the roots, it feeds the leaves, and so you are basically getting also micronutrients. So it's going to feed all parts of the plant. It's going to give you a lot healthier fertilizer, and it's slow release, so it's going to last up to 3 months.
And that's one of your guys' new products, right?
That's correct.
So is that going to be available now, or is that something that people are going to have to wait for before they see that?
No, that should be available now. And anybody can go to BearAdvance.com, and they have a product locator on there. If anybody's having any problem finding anything, they can go there.
Awesome. All right. Well, what's happening in your yard now, Lance?
Boy, we have my yard's looking great. The vegetable garden's coming along. We've been picking tomatoes now for probably 3 weeks. My early girls are coming in great. We're doing some new planting out in the citrus grove. So we got a lot going on. The zinnias are blooming like crazy. So everything's good here. So we're going to be a little hot today and tomorrow. So
Lance, I want to test my memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 17 acres, correct?
17 acres, that's correct.
Got it. I just want you to know that I do pay attention, Lance, when we have you on every now and then. And I just picture like rows and rows of citrus trees and acreage as far as you can see. Is that a good visual?
It is, actually. If you get up on our upper deck on our second story, you can look all the way over the citrus groves, all the way up into Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon National Park. So we've got quite the view. It's a beautiful area.
Lance sits up on his upper deck like Mufasa. Whatever the light touches is mine.
Exactly. Hey, Lance, let me ask you that. Lance, with everything you have out there growing, which is a little bit of everything, is something that you continually have a problem with? It just doesn't grow. You just haven't had good luck, or something that is a real challenge for you with everything that you have going?
No,
I love it.
He wrote the book on it all.
That's
Brian.
great. I love that.
Literally wrote the book.
An interviewer's dream, right? Those one-word answers.
Yeah, no, there are certainly some pest problems. I mean, if we have a number one problem, it's probably red scale. Market issues usually cause us more headaches. Water is always something.
Hey, we got to take a break, Lance. We'll come right back.
Yeah.
Please hold on to that thought. Lance Walheim representing Bayer. We're going to be right back. Got to take a break. Bryan, Maine, John Bagnasco. Tiger Palafox, our Saturday morning edition right here at Garden America.
Wow, your flowers are gorgeous. What's your secret?
It's no secret. It's Bayer Advanced.
You mean these blue bottles?
Uh-huh. I protect my beauties with all-in-one rose and flower care. It's insect and disease control plus fertilizer.
Really? What's this 12-month tree and shrub protect and feed?
Oh, I use it on my trees. It kills bugs for up to a year, plus it feeds. It's that easy. Hey, where are you going?
To get my own. I want a great yard, too.
Bayer Advanced. Get more from the blue bottle. Always read and follow label instructions.
This is Joe Lample from Growing a Greener World. With the environment in mind, I recommend Milorganite Organic Nitrogen Fertilizer for all your growing needs. From plants to people, active growth requires energy, nutrients, and a balanced diet. Nutrient-rich Milorganite feeds the soil and plants for up to 3 months. The organic nitrogen is slow release and won't burn plants even during hot, dry weather. Trust the fertilizer, proven effective for 90 years. Milorganite, for better results naturally. Visit Milorganite.com for a garden center near you.
As a small business owner, there's one word that you absolutely dread: payroll. For small businesses, it's a big burden. You may think you're saving time and money doing it yourself. But come on, are you? Timesheets, processing checks, calculating taxes, a total waste of your time. Paychex simplifies payroll processing, saving you time and money. Submit your payroll online, fax it in, or call your dedicated Paychex payroll specialist. And you're done. Learn more at trypaychex.com. Come on, do the math. The IRS dishes out 8 million penalties a year. Make one mistake, and you're on the hook. On average, you're losing nearly 1 business day every month doing payroll. That's time and money you'll never get back, unless you get Paychex. More than 500,000 small businesses already do. Call 877-649-5324. Trade payroll pressure for peace of mind. Call now. 877-649-5324. That's 877-649-5324.
If you're suffering from hearing loss, stay tuned for a special offer from the makers of Listen Clear, a revolutionary hearing aid breakthrough designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. Right now, you can try Listen Clear hearing aids absolutely free for 45 days. You can also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear hearing aids are so lightweight and comfortable, you can wear them all day long. They're practically invisible, too, so others won't even notice you're wearing them. And the best part is, you'll be able to hear almost everything, everywhere. So do something about your hearing loss. Call Listen Clear now to get started with your 45-day risk-free hearing aid trial. This special offer won't be available for long, so call Listen Clear now.
800-716-4650. 800-716-4650. 800-716-4650. We're here 24 hours a day to help. That's 800-716-4650.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-285-4765 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-285-4765. Again, 800 800-285-4765.
All right, guys, we're ready for our four-season sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait, a family hub. Yeah!
No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons Sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
Biz Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Garden America Radio Show with Bryan, John, and Tiger. The phone lines are open right now at 855-424-9825. That's 855-424-9825. Or john@gardenamerica.com.
Right back here at 51 minutes after the hour. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Again, Bryan Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox, Garden America, every Saturday morning at this time. John at gardenamerica.com. Questions, comments right there on Facebook also as we continue with a very good friend of ours representing Bayer, Lance Walheim, Tiger.
Yeah, and before the break, Lance was mentioning some of the things that plague his garden, and he had mentioned red scale. And we have a question, Lance, that came over from one of our listeners named Laura, who wants to know about what product you use on a tomato that has worms on it. Do you have any specific recommendation for her?
Yeah, we sure do. I mean, some of the Natria products are certainly good for different things like tomato hornworms. We've also got a vegetable and garden spray, which is very effective against the worms. So we have a number of different options for those.
Does that vegetable and garden spray come in a ready-to-use?
Picking them by hand. Pardon me?
Sorry for talking over you, Lance. Does that vegetable and garden spray come in a hose-end sprayer?
I think that it does, but let me double check here.
Yeah, the Natria one
and to get
does.
Back to,
oh,
yeah,
perfect.
the Natria certainly do, and I think that the other ones. Let me just double check.
And the vegetable garden does, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
it also comes in a ready to spray and also ready to use.
Since some of our stations don't carry the second hour of the show, I just wanted to quickly get this information in.
Sure, John.
Is that Lance is going to be the keynote speaker at the National Convention of the American Rose Society, which is going to be held in San Diego in October. And Bayer is one of the co-sponsors of that convention and the Save the Roses auction. And I wanted to mention that if you go to gardenamerica.com, right there on the homepage, we have links to all the information. If you want to register for the convention, if you want to come hear Lance speak, there's a dinner involved, and there's links to the Bayer website. So all that information's there. I just wanted to get that information
and
out
John,
there real quick.
is this in October this year?
In October, right.
And this is huge because we have the rose auction every year, but this is something different because
people be coming from all over the country.
Exactly. And they have it in different cities every year?
Different cities every year, but, October in San Diego is going to be nice and warm.
Oh, it's going to be like summertime.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you, Lance, as well, no doubt.
I'm looking forward to that. The American Rose Society members have helped me over the years so many times with, I can't remember how I've done 4 or 5 different books on roses, and they have always been checkers for me, providing information. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure I thank them, but it's a wonderful group.
Yeah. So what do you got going on the rest of this weekend, Lance?
Oh, before we get into Lance's personal schedule, we have another question from a listener, Lance, that wants to know what's the best product that you guys have to control spider mites?
It depends on what they're having the spider mites on. If it's on roses, then the 3-in-1 insect disease and mite control is the best product. If this is something that they're having on vegetables, then we also have some products within the Natria line that are specific for spider mites. So those are the places. It depends on the plant that you have.
Got it.
Hey, and then Lance, real quick, since that question came up, people need to understand that there's a difference between a mite and a standard sucking insect, and you can't always use the same insecticides as a miticide, right? Can you explain
exactly
why?
right.
Can you explain why you need to use a miticide and not just a basic, neem oil or something else that's more of an insecticide?
Yeah, right. I mean, some of the insecticides that are labeled for mites, for instance, some of the things that are oils, so those can be effective. But a mite is kind of a different kind of insect. It's more related to a spider, like its name, spider mites, many of them, than, say, a caterpillar or an aphid. So since it's a different family, we need specific control measures, and that's why the insect disease and mite control is so effective. And we also have, like I was saying, we have a Natria fruit and vegetable insect disease and mite control. Sulfur is another thing that can be effective against mites. Another thing you can do, of course, is make sure that you're keeping the plants dust-free. Mites tend to really proliferate when the weather is hot and the plants are dusty. So it helps to just keep the plants clean and give them a hose off. But insect disease and mite control works great on roses.
Awesome. All right. Well, so what else you got going on this weekend, Lance? Anything fun in the yard or anything fun in general?
Well, I'm going to have to make sure I'm keeping up with the watering, that's for sure. We're expecting to be 103, 104 here. I hope I can get out to the farmer's market to get some fresh cherries because being in the Central Valley, we've got all this great produce right now. But most of my concerns are going to be revolving around the irrigation, making sure that the plants are getting a good soaking.
Yeah, and it always changes. That's the thing with irrigation is, one weekend you go out there and on a small scale, you change a sprinkler head in the lawn and you redirect it. You don't know how it changed by itself. The next weekend you go out there and that sprinkler's pointing in the same opposite direction again. It's so frustrating.
Yeah,
irrigation is just an ongoing thing.
It sure is, and that's what people need to know about efficient irrigation. You've got to be on top of it. Even if you've got a controller and you've got drip irrigation things, you have to make sure that you're on top of it and it's watering properly, and get out there and get on your hands and knees, dig around in the soil or get a soil core tube, whatever you need, and find out what's going on, because in this weather you're going to find out where the mistakes are pretty quick.
Yeah. All right, Lance, we'll let you get to it. Thanks for holding on for us, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure, guys.
All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, Lance, always great information. And, one of these days I am going to remember the new name of the company and quit calling it Bayer to help them with their,
Bio Advanced.
Their branding, their new branding, Bio Advanced. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, you know that you've got the name Bayer Advanced in your
Right.
head, so just replace Bayer with Bio.
I think the phone line is open, too, so if we can get that, there we go. All right, so we've got just about a minute and a half to go. Your top of the news coming up on many of these affiliates. And again, Facebook Live will continue hour number 2. Many markets picking up the show. AM 1240, the first hour every Saturday. And the replay, of course, can be heard in Los Angeles and Southern California on AM 740. So what do you guys say? Next hour, we got more questions? Comments?
Yeah, Lenore's got a question about mealybugs on her tomato, so we can address that.
And then also we need to let people know who aren't going to be hearing us the second hour is the next show.
Yes.
Except on Facebook Live, Tiger and I will be trying to communicate
Facebook Live
from
in England.
Live
England.
in England.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. Coming back at 6 minutes after. News coming up on many of these Biz Talk Radio affiliates. In the meantime, if you're on our Facebook page, you can read the article about my son, Eric. Very proud of him. Way to go, Eric. Back at 6 minutes after. Thank you.
The opinions you hear on Biz Talk Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of this station, Biz Talk Radio, its management, or advertisers. The information on Biz Talk Radio does not constitute a recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or service. If you have any questions about Biz Talk Radio, contact us at 817-274-1609 or at biztalkradio.com. Biz Talk Radio.
For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King. The sounds of migrant children separated from their parents in a detention center was loud and clear on the House floor on Friday. Los Angeles area Congressman Ted Lieu was called out of order when he used a digital recorder to play the sounds of what advocates say are children crying out for their parents after border agents separated them.
There is no rule in the House that says I cannot play sounds from a detention facility.
The gentleman will suspend the use of the device. It is in violation of Rule 17. The Sergeant-at-Arms will enforce the rules of decorum.
When approached by several plainclothed people ready to shut him down, Lieu relented and turned the recorder off. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Wade Alaroot. I'm not just a conservative talk show host. I'm a father of 4 kids. When we all send our kids to school each day, the second most important thing is that they get good grades. But the most important thing by far is they come home safe and sound in one piece. Trained as an Army Ranger and former Deputy Sheriff, Joe Curran thought the same thing. That's why he invented a product called Bullet Blocker. He invented the world's first bulletproof backpack. Now Joe has built a super successful company around safety products for your most precious assets, your kids and your family. Bullet Blocker is an American company. They custom make a ton of products bullet resistant. Backpacks, bulletproof clothing, vests, fleeces, briefcases. Bullet Blocker gives you the gift of life. Clothing that looks cool but protects your children's life with the same coverage as police body armor. Everything works with Department of Education guidelines. Go to bulletblocker.com and enter code WAR to save 10% on your order. That's bulletblocker.com, bulletblocker.com.
In a 5-4 ruling today, the U.S. Supreme Court says police most of the time need a search warrant if they want to collect cell phone information about possible criminal suspects. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum says the case came from a man who was sentenced to 116 years in prison for a string of robberies.
His lawyer said that, look, my client has a reasonable expectation of privacy under the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment requires the police to obtain a warrant before obtaining this information.
OPEC has agreed on a modest increase in oil production to help with prices and avoid a supply shortage. Iran went into the meeting arguing it wasn't a question of supply and demand and blaming Trump administration trade decisions. But ultimately, Saudi Arabia persuaded its arch-rival to go along with the production hike, although there was no clear indication of exactly how much more the OPEC producers would put out. This is USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Wayne Alaroot. I'm a father of 4, and I worry every day about this dangerous world. There are so many things that could go wrong. Economic collapse, stock market crash, terrorist attack, war with North Korea. There's a lot to worry about when it comes to protecting your income, assets, and your family's future. Thankfully, my good friends at Tangible Investments are your safe haven from the storm. Call now, and Tangible Investments will send you absolutely free a 1-ounce American Silver Eagle along with your guide for investing in precious metals. To receive your free American Silver Eagle, call toll-free 800-780-9000. That's 800-780-9000.
Tributes continue to come in for conservative columnist Charles Krauthammer. USA's Chris Barnes has more.
Krauthammer died on Thursday at the age of 68. Earlier this month, he had revealed that he was in the final stages of a losing battle with cancer. He'd been missing from Fox News' special report for nearly a year as he battled that disease. Fox's Britt Hume worked with Krauthammer for decades.
The man was so courageous in the way he lived his life, and he overcame so much, almost total paralysis, to achieve what he achieved.
Krauthammer had graduated from Harvard Medical School back in 1975 from his hospital bed as he was recovering from a diving accident that left him a lifelong quadriplegic. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
A Northern California power company says it could pay upwards of $10 billion in connection with last year's deadly wildfires. Of the 21 Northern California wildfires last year, the California Department of Forestry has determined the cause of 14 of them so far, and several were caused by downed power lines. Pacific Gas and Electric filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission that it expects to pay at least $2.5 billion by the end of the quarter, June 30th, and could reach $10 billion plus, as it is facing some 200 lawsuits and has paid nearly $1 billion in insurance claims so far. For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King.
National Funding Group has just released $100 million in easy access small business funding to businesses that gross at least $100,000 a year. You can have fast access up to $500,000 in new business capital in as little as 48 hours. Think about the ways you could grow your business if you had up to a $500,000 cash infusion. Call a NFG funding expert now. The process is easy. It only takes about 5 minutes. Then our management-owned lending team looks at your application for a fast approval. You can get 100% funded in about 2 days. If you need up to $500,000 in working capital to run your business and you gross at least $100,000 a year, call NFG and apply today. 800-296-1564. 800-296-1564. 800-296-1564. That's 800-296-1564.
Welcome to the Garden America Show, the country's most listened to gardening program. This is your chance to join us as we talk about gardening, horticulture, landscaping, in fact, anything that has to do with the world of gardening. The phone lines are open right now at 1-855-424-9825. That's 1-855-424-9825 for your questions and comments. Or John at gardenamerica.com. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can also post your questions and comments right there on our page during the broadcast. Now, here's Bryan Main, John Bagnasco, and Tiger Palafox on the Garden America Radio and Media Network.
It is hour number 2, 6 minutes after. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be a fun hour. I want to thank Lance Walheim for being our guest. Hour number 1. Got a couple of questions we're going to get to. Here on Biz Talk Radio back, John at gardenamerica.com. You can email John with questions. Facebook Live, of course, we've got the number at 855-424-9825. Welcome to your weekend. Our friends on the East Coast, good afternoon. Tiger, more questions. What's going on?
Yeah, so before the break, Lenore had written about having mealybugs on her tomato. And she had also put a note on here that she cleaned them with rubbing alcohol, but would like a prevention product that would work. And she even cut away some of the parts of the plant because it was so infested with mealybug.
Right.
And mealybugs is a challenging one because there's, like mites, there's products that are really effective against it, and there's products that say they are, and they're not so much. And especially because they get into the joints of the plant, sometimes it's difficult to spray a product and actually hit the mealybug. And that's the issue with a lot of the oil-based products. Is you need to actually coat the bug because it suffocates it. But on tomatoes and with mealybug, as far as a preventative, there's 2 things that I recommend to do as a preventative when it comes to vegetables. One would be just a neem oil is good to kind of just increase that oil levels on the plant. And then the other one is spinosad because that prevents all the chewing insects as well. So if you kind of, alternate that as a preventative for bugs on a tomato, usually that kind of takes care of both issues and doesn't allow them to get any worse. Do you have any other ideas?
No, that sounds good to me, like maybe one spraying every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you going to take his advice, John, then?
I don't spray my tomatoes at all. If the bugs want a little bit, they can have a little bit.
You know what? You're kind of like I am. I go out there and I see a few holes here and there, but as long as the plant looks healthy and it's not a ridiculous infestation, I just kind of let it go.
Well, and like Lance had mentioned with the tomato, usually he'll go out and pick them off. And it's because the hornworms aren't usually very prolific, meaning, you'll have maybe 3 or 4 of them on there.
Talking about the big one?
Yeah, the big one. You have 3 or 4 on there. You pull them off. You can toss them to the birds or whatever. But like roses and geraniums, I mean, you can have hundreds of those little worms on there.
You know, geraniums this time of year are loaded with geranium budworm.
I don't care if you can pick all day and
if you're not spraying for the budworm on geraniums, you have a serious problem.
Yeah.
And the way to prevent that, you can prevent it with the all-in-one rose and flower care, or you can spray with spinosad.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I do.
Yeah, and then the reason why you can use the all-in-one on that is because it's not an edible. So people, know that you can't use the all-in-one on your tomatoes and vegetable crops.
John, we'd mentioned the tomato hornworm earlier. Even though they're so big, they're hard to see because they're green and they're camouflaged in with the plant. But once you do see it and identify with it, I mean, my first reaction is to step back and go, "What the heck is that?" It's huge. It's huge.
You know when you see them is when all the leaves are gone.
Yeah, it's the last thing left on a stem.
Yeah. I've only come across them maybe a couple of times over the years, but
because they'll eat half a plant overnight.
Yeah.
We had, I think Willa had years ago sent us pictures.
Willa from Chula Vista?
No, she's from
Who am I thinking of?
Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach, okay.
And Willa sent us pictures. She was raising tomato hornworms in her backyard. She had put one of those food netting type things over the tomato plant with the hornworms inside, and she was letting them eat and then turn into it makes a pretty big moth.
I was going to say, right? And that's the other thing people need to recognize is that all of those caterpillars are moths, or going to be moths or butterflies.
Right.
In that the tomato hornworm is a big brown moth.
Right.
The rose and the geranium usually worms are the little white kind of moths. Sometimes they're yellow. Also,
well, the rose is not a moth at all.
Wait a minute. The one on the geranium though is
that's the budworm.
The budworm
you're talking about. But on rose, I think you're talking about rose slugs, right?
No, they get the little budworms on them as well, though. The ones that eat the roses as they're developing into buds as well.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the rose slugs because those are really prolific this time of year too. But they go through and skeletonize the leaves.
Yeah. But so when you see those critters flying through your garden and they look pretty, darting here and there.
Remember what they used to be.
Well, not what they used to be, but also what they're going to be. And that's when you need to keep your eye out because the minute you see that flying through your yard, you're like, oh, wait a minute. It just laid its eggs somewhere. And now you're going to start to see those caterpillars develop.
Sure.
So,
well, if you see white butterflies, what you think are butterflies.
You see them all over the place.
With black spots on their wings. Those are cabbage moths.
And they're so common, John. They're everywhere.
And the cabbage, if you have cabbage moths, that's why you can't grow, in San Diego anyway, you can't grow summer vegetables when it's warm because the cabbage moths will just lay their eggs everywhere. So if you got things like kale right now, the cabbage moths are laying their eggs in them. And anything in edibles, anything in the broccoli family.
Yeah.
They just, cabbage, of course, that's where the name comes from, but broccoli, cauliflower, they'll just eat them up.
And Rick asks, what about a systemic insecticide on non-vegetable plants? So, depending on the plant, John had mentioned the Bayer product, the all-in-one. That's
rose and flower.
The rose and flower. There's also tree and shrub, and that comes from Bayer and also Fertilome. They have a tree and shrub systemic insecticide as well.
What I like about those is they last a whole growing season.
Yeah, 12 months.
Yeah.
And, and then not to be confused, the same active ingredients are in all those products. Even the citrus systemic that Bayer has the same active ingredient in it. It just is a matter of the dilution rate in it. Mm-hmm. So, there's less of it in the citrus, but there's more of it in the tree and shrub. And then we have a new question from Michelle who says, what is the bug that is tiny as a head of a straight pin, like a seed of a grape or blackberry? It has reddish-brown color to it. It's all over my garden. Friends can to be attracted to the color white. It likes to crawl up on the front of my house. My light-colored rocks in white pots and my white pots. even when I'm in the garden. I don't have pets, so they are not fleas. They actually look smaller than fleas. I don't see any legs on them, and they are micro-sized dots. Okay.
First thing I'd say is she has great eyesight.
Yeah. Second thing I'll say is that it's either worm poop.
No, not if they're crawling all over.
Well, I think people get confused. People commonly come into the nursery or garden center, and they bring in a plant, and they say, what are these that are crawling all over my plants? And I look at it, and it's worm poop. It's little brown dots that are all over the leaves, and they think that they're crawling all over the plants, but it's actually worm poop.
Okay, so let's imagine, that it's not, and it is crawling around.
Well, no. I don't even.
You don't.
This isn't even describing.
You think that's what it
is?
is?
A bug. I feel like there's another thing.
Well, if it doesn't have any legs, it certainly can't crawl, right?
Right. But then also this happened to my father-in-law. Okay, he on his front porch of his house, he had these 2 pots, and he would come out in the middle of the day, and there would be these dots, and he thought they were bugs all over the walls, all over the pots, all over the ground. They even were on the ceiling. And he's like, what are these bugs? And I walked out there, and I looked, and I'm like, that's not a bug. And at first, you're thinking worm poop. But then I'm like, okay, but it's on the ceiling. This is really weird. I don't see that happening, right? You know what it was he had oxalis that was growing in the pots as a weed. Oxalis is a weed, very common, clover.
I get that a lot.
Like that.
I get a lot, yep.
When their flowers open, they explode, and the seeds go everywhere. Known, and they stick to things. They stick to the side of the wall. They stick to the door. They stick to the pot.
And that's how they reproduce themselves.
And that's how they spread their seed, right?
Right.
Well, it wasn't a bug. It wasn't worm poop. It was the oxalis seeds that were scattered all over wherever it was.
So he's seeing them all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And he thought it was a little frog, like climbing all over the place and pooping or whatever. But no. It was the oxalis plant. When it flowers, it's sprays its seeds all over the place. So Michelle, it's tough. If you can take a picture and post it for us,
yes,
maybe we can identify it if it truly is a bug.
Okay.
But it's not always a bug. People need to, sometimes consider that,
get a close-up, Michelle.
Yeah, and that way we can kind of see and we all have a better idea.
We're going to take a break, come back, questions, comments, Facebook Live like Michelle and the rest of you, or John at GardenAmerica.com. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. I'm Bryan Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. We're going to step aside, taking a break, coming right back.
Wow, your flowers are gorgeous. What's your secret?
It's no secret. It's Bear Advanced.
You mean these blue bottles?
Uh-huh. I protect my beauties with all-in-one rose and flower care. It's insect and disease control plus fertilizer.
Really? What's this 12-month tree and shrub protect and feed?
Oh, I use it on my trees. It kills bugs for up to a year, plus it feeds. It's that easy. Hey, where are you going?
To get my own. I want a great yard, too.
Bear Advanced. Get more from the blue bottle. Always read and follow label instructions.
Hi, this is gardening expert Melinda Myers. Keeping the environment in mind, I recommend Milorganite slow-release nitrogen fertilizer for all your growing needs. From plants to people, active growth requires energy, nutrients, and a balanced diet. Nutrient-rich Milorganite feeds the soil and plants for up to 10 weeks. The non-burning, non-leaching formula provides a slow and consistent flow of nutrients. Trust the fertilizer, proven effective for over 90 years. Milorganite for better results. Visit Milorganite.com for a garden center near you.
This is an urgent health notice for all residents suffering from back, neck, knee, and wrist pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you, but the deadline is fast approaching. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now.
You heard right. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace. These items may even be covered by Medicare or your private insurance. The Health Alert Hotline is your brace company. These specialized braces have been tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility and to learn how to use your private insurance or Medicare to minimize your out-of-pocket cost. Don't wait. If the deadline passes, you may lose your opportunity to get a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace at little or no cost to you.
800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. That's 800-306-1760.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks on Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks on Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks on Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks on Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. 800-569-3414. That's 800-569-3414. Again, 800-569-3414.
Biz Talk Radio. Welcome back to the Garden America Radio Show with Bryan, John, and Tiger. The phone lines are open right now at 855-424-9825. That's 855-424-9825. Or John at GardenAmerica.com.
Okay, back here, Garden America. Thank you so much as we continue on this Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, depending upon where you're listening. 21 minutes after the hour, 855-424-9825. John at GardenAmerica.com. But all the action and activities on Facebook Live this morning with your questions and comments. And again, back and forth with what that may or may not have been in terms of your take on it, Tiger.
Yeah, and then John had another suggestion for it, which might be it really also. So you want?
Yeah, we were talking to Michelle. She was talking about very small bugs, or what she assumed were bugs, but she couldn't see the legs on them. But they'd be up the side of her house. She said when she went in the garden, they would get all over her pants, and they were and especially white pants.
And they're attracted to light colors.
Yeah, I think what she has is clover mites, and clover mites are attracted to light colors, and they invade in huge numbers. So, try to, maybe
get a close picture of it.
Yeah, look at them under a magnifying glass or something. But I'm pretty sure that's, from the way she's describing it anyway, that's what she has. We had, I noticed that we had Mrs. Know-It-All from Pittsburgh join our Facebook live.
Our Facebook Live feed?
Yeah, and Denise might want to chime in also about clover mites, because Denise is a Pittsburgh personality. And
we had her on our show.
We've had her on our show several times. Denise is always interesting to talk to, and she's a very nice person on top of it. Very knowledgeable.
What else?
I think that covered all of our Facebook Live questions.
John, do you have any email questions by chance?
I don't think I do. I'll take a look.
Okay.
He hasn't checked his email.
Well, there's so many things to check all at one time, and then
this is your multitasking, John, right here today.
I can't wait to be in England with him, and we're trying to go from place to place to do these certain things, and he's just gonna get frustrated because I'm gonna be like, "Hey, we gotta go do this," and he's gonna
got to hold the camera still. I gotta get this. We're Facebook Live, John. Sit still.
You know, I'm now that you mention that, I'm wondering, should I bring a camera or should I just use my phone?
I bring both. I always bring both.
The thing about the camera is that you can take macro shots.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that with the phone.
You can with certain phones, but with the camera you're talking about, much better macro shot. I would take both.
The only thing is the camera's so inconvenient to carry around.
It's already started, Tiger.
I know. It's oh my goodness.
Would you like? You know what? I would be one of those people that people could hire out if they're going on a vacation or a trip, and I would just videotape and take pictures of everything they're doing. I would hold the bag, just follow them around, exactly like a small news crew.
The camera has attachments you need too, and then you got to download the pictures onto your.
Oh my gosh, really? How do you do it?
Just like one thing after another.
John, I'm going to tell people to leave you alone. Too much going on.
Also, while we've been running or conducting the show,
running our mouth off.
Running our mouths off. I've been trying to umpire a decision here. When I was in Detroit back in May, I brought tomatoes and I gave them to my brother, my brother-in-law,
yes,
and to my niece, Lisa. And we kind of started a little family contest to see who the first person to get a ripe tomato was. And Lisa posted that she thinks she won, and she showed a picture of her tomato, but her tomato was green.
Yeah.
And my brother Dave also has green tomatoes, and the contest is the first person to get a ripe tomato.
And it's got to be all ripe.
And did you give them green tomatoes so it'll really mess with them?
No, I didn't give them any green tomatoes.
That's good, though. That
would have
been
been good. The first one to ripen, guys. You got to make these red.
Green zebra, right? Green zebra, green tiger.
But the weather back there, has it been hot since you gave them the tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's typical
Continue.
Midwest summers.
Yep.
So they should be doing pretty well. I've got to, before we go to England, I've got to tie up my tomatoes. I didn't plant tomatoes this year. The ones that I have are the ones that were there from the previous year. And we had that freeze, and they froze down to like less than a foot tall. Wow. And, almost no leaves on them. And now that whole area, if I stood them up, they're like 7 feet tall.
Really?
Yeah, and they're just loaded with flowers. And some of them never even fruited last year, but this year that they're loaded. And one of the ones that's
a bounty
for the first time is going to have fruit is orange brandywine.
Oh, yeah?
And was it Marilyn, I think, was
one
of her callers was telling us she really liked orange brandywine. So because of that, we'll see what that tastes like. So that's going to be kind of exciting.
Orange brandywine isn't going to be much different than brandywine, just the color of it, right?
Yeah.
It tastes the same?
It tastes the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was...
I like the silence.
No, well, we were watching John trying to make a decision.
We're all watching John. What's he going to do next?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw that Denise was going to give us a call. I was looking at our Facebook Live. So
way ahead of you.
Maybe she's going to call and talk about
way ahead of
clover mites.
Isn't that sometimes crazy though? When you're trying to identify a bug problem on a plant, and you really got to think outside the box on some of the issues because, as you mentioned, the tomato, the rose slug, it's sometimes you think worms, sometimes you think slug and snails, sometimes you have a caterpillar, or a grasshopper, some kind of chewing insect. And, and then when it comes into the other problems with plants, like, when you see like a crinkly leaf, and a lot of times the damage is done way before and now there's no more bugs, but that's just damage that's left over. But people
the bugs have gone.
Yeah, but people think that there's still bugs. Or, crinkly leaf is also a lot of signs for a disease. And, how do you treat for the disease? And, a lot of the times when you're treating for a disease and you don't know which the problem is specifically, and, are you going to be using like a copper soap? Or are you going to be using, like a fungicide like Serenade and different things? And, a lot of it's trial and error, but, when you it's always nice to have those products like what Bayer puts out and Fertilome puts out that are kind of all-in-ones.
Right.
You don't have to think
yeah.
about it too much.
Well, you know, Lenore had made that comment on the one product that we were talking about, and she said, you know, with the Bayer product, it says not to consume the veggies for 21 days. Now, that with the Natria product, you can use it right up to the time of harvest. But Lance, I guess, was still listening to the show, and he said, I'm glad that you're reading the labels. He said, check out the Natria products, which can be used right up to harvest.
Remember, what did Bruce always used to say?
The label is the law.
The label is the law. Okay, break time as we approach 30 minutes after the hour. Got about 30 minutes to go until the top of the hour. Questions, comments, keep them going right there on Facebook or John at GardenAmerica.com. You can also float us a phone call. Maybe Denise will call us. That's 855-424-9825, toll free. Tiger Palafox, John Bagnasco, Bryan Main, going to step aside. Happy weekend. This is the Garden America radio program. Coming right back.
Want a better-looking lawn with less effort? Husqvarna's robotic automower is the effortless way to mow. Husqvarna's intelligent design allows the automower to maneuver around your lawn without supervision, even over tricky terrain and around obstacles. It knows when it needs to be charged and directs itself back to the charging dock. With convenient control options, the Husqvarna allows you to set it and forget it, even from your smartphone. Thanks to Husqvarna, you can have a great-looking lawn and more time to enjoy it this season. Visit Mission Hills Nursery at 1525 Fort Stockton Drive in San Diego, or go to missionhillsnursery.com for more info.
There's more than one way to invest in your education. Investing in the right products, securities, and real estate generates secure and sound futures. What about an investment that retains its value? Consider college real estate. College real estate can provide housing for students and generate returns for their families. Through this special offer from Austin iLabs, you can download the free workbook from collegerealestate.com to see if this investment is right for you. Go to collegerealestate.com/radio.
Do you have an old car sitting in your driveway? How would you like to learn a hassle-free way to get rid of it, help kids in need, and get a great tax donation in the process? It's real easy. One simple free call to our car donation hotline is all it takes. Call the Neshama Foundation at 800-721-6723, 800-721-6723. We'll come pick your car up for free and give you a tax donation for the full value of the car, running or not. The value of your unwanted car will go to help kids in need. It's fast and easy. Just call us and your car will be gone and on its way to helping children in 48 hours. And you get a nice tax deduction. Call the Neshama Foundation now to get rid of your car, help kids, and get a tax write-off. Call 800-721-6723, 800-721-6723, 800-721-6723. That's 800-721-6723.
We paid less for our Craftmatic today than we did 20 years ago.
If you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and free information on today's Craftmatic adjustable beds. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Rated #1 by consumers nationwide on ConsumerAffairs.com. Craftmatic beds come in all mattress types, including cool gel memory foam for up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, poor circulation, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. You'll sleep better in a Craftmatic adjustable bed. So if you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and information. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Discover Craftmatic for less, up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand.
Call 1-800-316-5271. That's 1-800-316-5271. 1-800-316-5271. Call now.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years to get out of debt, call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 5 million people. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, call Consolidated Credit now.
Call now, 800-350-3241. That's 800-350-3241. 800-350-3241.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Licensed by Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number D2. Established a plan
may adversely affect the individual's credit rating or credit scores. Non-payment of debt may lead creditors to increase financial charges or collections activity, including litigation.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing at 800-557-6095 immediately. That's 800-557-6095. Page Publishing is looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to them and give you their feedback. If they like what they read, they'll get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. They handle everything: editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-557-6095 now for your free author submission kit. Again, for your free author submission kit, call 800-557-6095. That's 800-557-6095. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. Call Page Publishing at 800-557-6095 for your free author submission kit.
Biz Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Garden America Radio Show with Bryan, John, and Tiger. The phone lines are open right now at 855-424-9825. That's 855-424-9825. Or John at gardenamerica.com.
It is 35 minutes after the hour because we know you're all keeping track of the time on this Saturday. It is Garden America, Bryan Main, John Bagnasco, and, of course, Tiger Palafox here, Biz Talk Radio. John, we've got somebody on the phone, I believe, somebody that we all know.
Yeah, before we go to Denise, really quick, I just want to, just because you mentioned the time, when you were coming up in the business and you were a DJ.
I was a disc jockey, and I used to puke on the air, yes.
With you and it was right after Marconi.
Yeah, right.
But
we were good buddies.
But weren't you required or weren't you advised to say the time every so often?
Well, no, that would be up to the specific program director and the station.
Oh, okay. Because I thought there was some general rule.
Well, there are general rules like the station ID. Once an hour, you have to give the call letters and the location or area that you're transmitting from. So that's a rule. And it's we used to have a license to get on the air. You had to take an FCC license, and it was very controlled back then. And then with deregulation, a lot of that went away.
Well, I remember when we used to do the Over the Hedge radio show that our director at that time used to say, always say the time.
Right.
So that's up to the discretion of the program director,
That's exactly right. That is not an FCC regulation. But the ID, top of the hour, that kind of thing still holds true. So
well,
now,
someone who there's no regulation for is Denise Schreiber. She's a national personality, author, garden writer, and radio host in the Pittsburgh area. And she's on the phone right now. So, hey, Denise, how's it going back there?
It's raining, as it usually does. It's raining for weeks. When we see sun, we're like, what's that bright light in the sky? We're not sure what it is.
Well, Denise, I'm originally from...
and you would love to have it.
Well, I'm originally from Detroit, and we used to pray for rain sometimes because it would be so hot, so humid, you couldn't even breathe, and you just want to rain to cool things off. Of course, as soon as it stopped raining, it got hot and humid again.
Yeah, we've actually had some serious flooding here.
Oh, no. Hey, Denise, did you happen to hear us talking about the clover mites?
Well, yeah, I did, actually. And they really do not cause a problem in the garden. They don't eat plants. But when people see them, they kind of panic because they're so visible.
Right.
And, I understand somebody had it up on the siding of their house.
Right.
The house.
Right.
They're not going to do anything. It's just visible. Knock them off with a stream of water. They're fine. They are actually food for somebody else, whether it's a spider, a bird, any number of the beneficials that are in the garden. So you really don't have to worry about them. But a lot of people panic when they see an insect. It's like, oh, I have insects. Well, that's sort of the natural order there. You don't really have to worry about it. If it's a tarantula, you might want to have it removed.
Yeah, right. Maybe, sure.
Yeah. If you've got fleas, you might want to take a bath.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one of our bigger problems here is ticks. Mostly, it's a serious issue here, and a lot of people like to grow what they call, it's a Pittsburgh term, a jaggerbush, which is really barberry or berberis species.
Right.
And studies have found, actually out of Michigan, that because they're so jaggedy, you actually, during the winter when they lose their leaves, they collect leaves and any trash that may be, blowing through the neighborhood. And it actually creates an environment for the mites to winter over, which now, barberry is actually, in our area, is considered an invasive species. But nurseries are still selling it. People like to use it as a barrier plant because our biggest problem are deer. They're kind of pets for us. And, the deer won't eat them.
I always find that funny. Deer are like a pest, and in California, I think maybe some skunks or maybe a rat is a pest. Can't imagine a deer or bear.
Well, it depends where you are in California. Because Northern California, they're a huge problem.
Actually, I didn't say pest. I said pets, as a dog or a cat.
There are so many of them that everybody's got them, so you consider them pets. Well, we get it. Yeah, sure. No problem.
Now, I live less than 10 miles from downtown Pittsburgh at the point, the Three Rivers, whenever you see it. Mm-hmm. And, during a football or baseball game, I have 3 foxes living underneath my shed. A neighbor about 6 doors away has 6 of them playing in his backyard. And, the deer just wander through our yards. They walk down the middle of the street. That's why we call them pets. I once had them sleeping on my back deck.
Wow.
On the other hand, we don't have moose, which do more damage than deer. So it's everything's relative.
Yeah, everything is relative.
Yeah.
We've got deer, but at least we don't have moose.
At least we don't have, exactly. And the deer seem to be, correct me if I'm wrong, they're kind of people friendly, aren't they? I mean, to be up on your porch like that, are they used to people, Denise?
Because they've lost so much of their habitat, they've moved into the suburbs and even urban areas. We've even had them in downtown Pittsburgh occasionally getting lost and walking into a store. But typically, we'll have a small herd. There's major car accidents, and I can tell you that I just spent $1,500 for my car, and I hit her at less than 20 miles an hour going around a bend at dark. Yeah, and it wasn't a cheap fix, and she got up and left.
Wow, jeez. Wow.
My wife's family is from northern Michigan, Denise, and up there they call the deer venison.
Nice.
That's usually what they call them as a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it was.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Going back to what I forget who said it earlier. They were talking about Bruce Asakawa, I assume, saying that reading the label is the law, and in Pennsylvania it is the law. I am a certified pesticide applicator here. And that's one thing we try to stress is read the label. And a lot of times I'll be driving through the neighborhood and I'll see somebody spraying something. Whether it's organic or not, it is still designed to kill something. And it is, when it's organic, it's supposed to be less harmful to the environment. Doesn't mean it's necessarily less harmful to you. A good example, and one of my favorites, is hot pepper wax. It is fabulous. But if you read the directions, it contains capsicum, and it tells you to wear eye protection because it can physically blind you. Also, wear gloves. If you've ever cut open a hot pepper and not had gloves on, and then, you accidentally wipe your eye, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Be cautious. Well, thank you very much for joining us this weekend, Denise.
Yeah, thanks for the information. I'm sure our viewers appreciate it.
Yeah, and stay dry.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try that. You guys
right.
have a good time.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you so much. Okay, so there you go. I hope that gives, was it Michelle?
Yeah, with
a lot of
with
information.
The clover mites, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, Denise did bring up a good point. It's alarming just to see the huge numbers of those clover mites, but they are relatively harmless. They kind of eat the blades of grass.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually where they're from. And if you happen to have grass growing right up to the house, that's usually when you get them, because they won't go over bare dirt. So if they are getting, because they can get in the house too. So if you eliminate the grass growing right up next to the house, that might help.
Yeah, and I mean, they're kind of like an insect, like an ant. Like, is it a nuisance? Yes. Is it actually doing, harm to any plants or anything else?
Yeah, they are.
What?
Ants can take stuff up and down trees.
That's right, because they're moving insects.
They're moving
all
insects,
over the place.
But as far as what you're saying, you're like me. Like, if I see them, they don't bother me.
Yeah.
Where some people, I got to get rid of these ants. I can't stand them. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Little black
not
ants.
bothering me.
No, not bothering me, but they're up to something. You know that.
They're up to something.
Whenever you see ants, you know you have a problem. Really?
Well, they're looking for water, or they're...
But if you get rid of the ants, doesn't mean you get rid of the problem.
No, but they exacerbate the problem. I mean, they're going to be... Some of those insects just are not mobile, like scale insects.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly move at all.
Right. And they'll move... The ants will move from plant to plant.
Moving... Yeah, they're moving them everywhere.
Okay, one more segment coming up, which means one more break right around the corner here. 855-424-9825, john@gardenamerica.com. And still taking your questions and comments there on Facebook. We're going to take a break here, again, 45 minutes after the hour. Happy weekend to you from us here at Garden America.
Having bug problems this season? Need an overall solution? Try Natural Guard Spinosad Soap. This combination of spinosad and fatty acids kills aphids, mealybugs, worms, caterpillars, and other bugs that plague your garden. It's also safe to use around your fruit and veggies to make sure you enjoy your crop and not those pesky critters. Find Natural Guard Spinosad Soap in a ready-to-use bottle or ready to spray for those large garden plots at your favorite independent garden center. Go to fertilome.com for more information.
Wow, your flowers are gorgeous. What's your secret?
It's no secret. It's Bear Advanced.
You mean these blue bottles?
Uh-huh. I protect my beauties with all-in-one rose and flower care. It's insect and disease control plus fertilizer.
Really? What's this 12-month tree and shrub protect and feed?
Oh, I use it on my trees. It kills bugs for up to a year, plus it feeds. It's that easy. Hey, where are you going?
To get my own. I want a great yard, too.
Bear Advanced. Get more from the blue bottle. Always read and follow label instructions.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right. General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait.
Call 800-605-5370. 800-605-5370. Call 800-605-5370.
Does your water stain and damage your fixtures? Does it smell or taste bad? Are you worried about what's in your water? Water quality should not be painful and worrisome. Get HydroCare water systems from Wave Home Solutions with the most advanced purification technologies. Call Wave Home Solutions today at 1-888-989-WAVE or go to GreatHealthyWater.com. HydroCare will eliminate limescale that causes hundreds of dollars in damage to pipes and appliances without using salt. Well water will no longer smell or stain your fixtures. City water will be purified of harmful chlorine, lead, arsenic, and chemicals. Wave Home Solutions provides the cleanest, healthiest water at every faucet. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 1-888-989-WAVE, 1-888-989-WAVE, or go to greathealthywater.com. That's greathealthywater.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-430-7570. 800-430-7570. 800-430-7570. That's 800-430-7570. Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9658. 800-915-9658. 800-915-9658. That's 800-915-9658.
Biz Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Garden America Radio Show with Bryan, John, and Tiger. The phone lines are open right now at 855-424-9825. That's 855-424-9825. Or John at gardenamerica.com.
It is our final segment on this Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Happy weekend, 51 minutes after the hour. Facebook Live, did we cover all the questions, Tiger, that we can see?
Yeah, we did, and
And
some.
then some. And
we got
John,
a lot of information out there for people today.
What about John at gardenamerica.com? Been a little quiet. Hello, John.
He doesn't even know how to hook up.
Hello, John.
He's multitasking.
I was just reading Risa Ann had made the comment about on Facebook about the sphinx moth. And said they're almost the size of a hummingbird.
I went to college with her.
Did you really?
I sure did. She was, let's see, how should I put this? She was a big, no, it's not bad. She was a big fan and booster of our hockey team.
Nice.
So thank you, Risa. Appreciate all those fun years at NAU.
Yeah, but those moths, they could be the size of a bird, not just a hummingbird. Those things
I remember when
big.
I was a kid, I saw a moth about the size of a bird that was flat on top of our outdoor chimney, our brick chimney. Scared me to death.
Yeah.
You know, it's like birds are one thing. I didn't know if this was a bat or what it was, but it was a huge moth. And it was good sized wing.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, over the years, it gets bigger, the moth, whenever I tell the story.
It was as big as my hand. It's as big as
right.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have carried me off.
What else, John? You get that smile on your face. What are you looking at?
I'm not looking at anything in particular. I'm actually starting to think about
England.
England.
I knew it.
Yeah.
He's already across the pond in his mind.
No, he's not, because he hasn't even got a suitcase yet.
Yeah, but details. Minor details. You got your passport, Tiger?
I think so. Yeah, no idea.
Remember that one year when you guys had to go to L.A. because Shannon didn't have a passport?
That's when we went to Belize, wasn't it?
I think so. And it was like right up to the 11th hour, right? You weren't sure you were going to go.
No, wait a second. If it's when we went to Belize.
No, it was, I think, the first year we went to Italy and France, 2015. I think.
Oh, could be.
Anyway, but the point is, get all that in order.
Somebody asked me what I'm looking forward to when I go on this trip. And, I mean, there's so much that we're seeing, so I'm not necessarily – so much stuff already included in our tour, which I'm really excited about. And I am looking forward to it, but I already know it's part of it. So I'm trying to think of outside of what's our pre-designed trip, what I'm looking forward to. And the one thing that I hear about is just visiting the pubs. And so I want to see what that's like, because they say that they're just all over the place.
They're on every corner.
And that, they're all kind of these
English
little hole-in-the-wall
pub
place and everything.
Yeah.
I think I told you the story where they told us if you ever get lost, just keep walking. You'll hit a pub eventually. And that literally happened to us.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking for. Maybe some good old warm room temperature beer.
Well, is that true too? Because I don't think I'm looking forward to that.
No, that's true.
Oh,
but you can
great.
get it cold if you want, right?
I don't
think so. Because that means they would have to have it refrigerated, and they don't put ice in beer.
I'll tell you one thing to make sure that you get, and you'll have to look for it, but sticky toffee pudding.
Sticky toffee pudding. Look for that. All right.
It doesn't really sound good.
No,
but it's probably one of the most delicious desserts you'll ever try.
Okay.
Sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah. And then I'm not super excited to try fish and chips just because, I don't know, we're in San Diego and I feel we have pretty good
and you
fish
think
and
it's going to be
chips.
different.
No, it's quite a bit different.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it? So I should order the fish and chips?
I think that's going to be something I order because it's one of the few things I can eat now. I found out I can eat fish and chips.
Oh, great.
Can't eat all fish, but the fish and whatever they use in fish and chips.
Okay, so
is
what's the
wild.
difference in England versus the fish and chips that we're used to?
Well, if you get it to go, they wrap it in newspaper.
Okay, so there's newspaper ink.
Nice. That sounds tasty.
You know what's really funny about that? Do you remember a franchise that was here a while ago? This goes back maybe 20, 30 years, called Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips.
Right.
And I think when they did the same thing, it wasn't a real newspaper, but when they gave you your food, it was wrapped up in a fake newspaper.
I don't think they would go.
I don't think
health
the
department
U.S. would let you do that.
do that.
Now, I have to assume that the ink that they use over in England, it doesn't get on the food.
Well, and that's a big thing with even composters. People say, "Oh, paper and inks in compost bins," and the thing is nowadays, unless it's like a photographic magazine or some kind of high-end magazine, they use soy-based inks.
Okay.
So our newspapers are all kind of soy-based.
But I remember
inks
that getting the newspaper ink all over your hands. What a hassle! No more
What a
though.
hassle.
Thanks to soy.
Carbon copy.
Right, carbon copy. A mimeograph machine. Do you remember that?
No.
Mimeograph machine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in school, whenever they had to make copies, so they'd run them off in the office, and then they would bring them to the classroom, and it was still wet, the ink, and you would smell it. It was so good. And all the kids are smelling the paper. It's all wet.
Yeah, you get high just from that smell.
Yeah.
Really?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, you would get lightheaded.
These are great grade school.
Yeah, and that's also when you guys would play with the asbestos tainted in lead-based desks.
And guess what we used
that
to do?
That explains our whole generation now.
And
I'll
guess
tell
what?
you.
We used to drink out of the hose and ride in the back of pickup trucks with no seatbelts or nothing. Seatbelts.
I was watching a show last night. I think it was an old movie. Might have been A Star Is Born with Judy Garland. And I don't know why it just hit me, but they were in a car. It might have been a convertible. And the guy gets out, and then he holds the door open for her, but it's the driver's side door, and she just slides across the seat and gets out. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, because bucket seats.
Right.
I remember, though, when because my dad sold cars when I was in high school, he would loan me cars to drive, and I'd say, well, I don't want bucket seats. I want to make sure I've got one whole seat. He said, what difference does it make? And I went, drive-in theater. It's like, what? I go, I just want a car that has one seat, like a couch.
More comfortable.
Like a couch.
Yeah.
Hey, that's going to do it, guys. Closing comments. England, you guys are leaving this week?
Yeah, please join us on Facebook Live next Saturday.
Live from England.
And we're going to do our best to make sure that we're live from England. It'll be fun. It may not work.
At the same time, 8 o'clock if you're on the West Coast and 11 o'clock East Coast.
Right.
Yep.
And if it doesn't work, at least Tiger will be able to post pictures on Facebook. So we'll try to try to let you guys keep up with what we're doing.
So for the
where
next
we
couple
are.
of weeks, we're going to replay older shows, but you can keep up with the England trip on Facebook and, of course, the Facebook Live, which you're going to make an attempt to do. And today's experiment using your phone's data seemed to work okay, Tiger.
Yeah, everything except my phone's about to die.
Okay, so hey, that said, we'll see you back here live in 2 weeks. Facebook next week from England. John and Tiger, thank you so much for the entire crew. Tiger Palafox, John Bagnasco, I'm Bryan Main. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend and, of course, a safe week. And the next time we get together, whenever that is, that will be 2 weeks, next week in England, get growing America. And for that matter, get growing England. Take care.